Do you like the audio setup?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect. No, I just want to make sure. No, but thank you. So I wanted to say thank you so much again, Judy. It's awesome to have you on.
absolutely. My
Seriously.
pleasure.
Now I know. I only heard a little bit of your story from the Five Rings Financial seminar or group. I don't know what you guys call it, but it was a great experience overall in general. And damn, I need to breathe. Sorry, that's something with me. I don't know why that's something I'm like learning with like my public speaking. Sometimes I just go too much on a rant
No
that I forget
worries.
to.
Breathe. Yeah, gotta breathe.
Gotta find a moment to relax. Yeah, that thing. No, but it's and I can imagine you learned so much like when it comes to social skills and meeting so many people, throughout your experience in sales and stuff like that. And that's actually the first thing I wanted to dive into. We talked a little bit about it before we started, but can you actually tell me your experience like in sales, like what even got you interested in it in the first place? I feel like it's something that I'm not gonna lie, even myself, like before, like when I was younger growing up, like when you look at sales, the first thing you think is like the snake oil salesman, like
Yeah,
car trying to sell you a beat up car for 10 times what it's worth and all that. So like I would
right.
like to hear your experience and your thoughts going into it
Okay.
and how it's changed now. Since
Absolutely. I'll start with I didn't start in sales. Actually started in product development,
oh,
design, and marketing. So I moved out of design because I learned early on in my career that I wasn't going to make a lot of money, honestly. So I said, I want to learn how to market a product and get the information out there and really explain things because I feel like so many consumers, when they're buying anything, they're just confused. They want answers to their questions, right? So I learned marketing first. And then from marketing, I stepped into a sales position.
so it was like psychology. Was it that like that interests you? Like, cause you were saying like, people they're out there confused like, oh, do I really need this, do I really need that, like what's
Yeah.
better, what's a good path, like is that something that interests you like growing up too? Was it just like the way the mind worked by any chance? Is it like
I
psychology,
think
anything like that?
so. I mean, I took plenty of psychology classes and electives in school, in high school, as well as in college. And I just thought it was so interesting, right? How
Yeah.
people think and how people communicate. And I think that we're all just curious, right? And we're all wanting to know answers and we want to discuss things um, and really find the answers. So, yeah, I think that's what led me into sales.
Damn, okay.
So I got into it. And then I was asked by the company I worked for in New York to go on air and sell on a home shopping network. This was in the 90s, sort of mid 90s. And I was like, you want me to do what?
Like hold up, like what?
Wait a minute, what? But we had to explain how to put these on.
Yeah.
So it was just a product that many people didn't understand. How do you use these things and how do I protect my furniture?
Mm.
So I would go on air and I was tasked with selling $1 million of product in a 24-hour period of time. And I was like, I don't know, I don't understand how I'm going to do that,
Mm.
but I'll try my best. So they explained that at the top of every hour, you would go on air for 11 minutes, sometimes 7 minutes if we could sell enough product in that time period. And they said, fill the time with just really keywords and explaining the product, doing the demonstration of actually how to put the slipcover on the fabric or on the furniture, and describing the beautiful colors and the design aspect of it. So I was able to do all of that because I came from the design background. Then I moved into marketing and then I was able to sell it. And it was fun. I ended up really enjoying it. I did that for about 2 years and I sold product on air, $1 million every month. They would send me down to Tampa to
Damn.
do that.
That's pretty phenomenal too, especially like you said, the time frame of only 11 minutes to 7 minutes, trying to, a random individual just on TV,
Hmm.
trying to get their attention first off, because
Yeah.
like a like what was like what was the challenging part? Like, did you have to make your own script? Was it like, I know they said they explained to you like the time frame and all that stuff. Like, did they?
No,
It was
thank
kind of just you
goodness.
winged it. Wow.
You're always on air with a professional
Yes,
host.
this is a professional place. Obviously, you can see we have great A plus equipment here. We work with what we got. All right, go
That's
ahead.
so we were always on with an on-air host from Home Shopping Network, and they would ask me the questions, and then I would just jump right into the demonstration, how to put it on, and talk about the different colors and designs and how it would work with everyone's home furnishings that they already have at home with these carpet colors, blah blah blah, and um, I was astonished how quickly we would sell product. I mean, it would go, I would even sell out $1 million of product before I got to the 24th hour.
Really?
Usually I get to like, I think about I don't know, 18 hours and then we were sold out.
Wow.
So I
Like
wouldn't
that.
have to come back.
And was there like was that like right off the bat, like you were making sales like that, like within making that quota, or is it
I
so?
think it was very popular product at that
Okay,
time.
got you.
So people were, just getting hand-me-down sofas from grandma or grandpa. And then they were like, well, this is not my style, but I can put this cover over it, makes it look brand new. And so, yeah, a lot of people were buying them at the time.
Okay, I
It was
got
just
you.
right place, right time.
Oh well, no, that's amazing. You know what I mean? Things happen for a reason, right? Because I was gonna ask, like, if it was like a struggle for you, like what learning experiences, like of changing, like the way maybe like your tonality, your pitch, like when you're making this, sale online, on TV. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
okay.
absolutely. No, I just was super lucky.
Yeah.
I was on the right shows, the right hosts, and yeah, they gave me a little bit of background of what to say,
Yeah.
and they actually had one bit of advice for me, and that was don't sneeze. And I was like, "Excuse me?" They're like, "The time it takes you to sneeze, that could cost us $10,000. So fill every minute with beautiful words to sell the product,
Okay.
and don't take a pause."
Wow. Okay. So not even like like say you're trying to emphasize a word, like this is a great product because blah blah blah, and doom.
Yeah.
Then you continue on, like they won't even want anything like
Oh
that to like to
no.
emphasize. Okay,
So
it's
we would
interesting.
have sometimes callers that would call in
Oh, really? In the middle while you're trying to sell
while
it?
I'm selling, while I'm
Really?
demonstrating, and one time I actually received a proposal, a wedding proposal.
Wait. I was gonna say,
Marriage
is this how you met your
proposal.
husband?
No, no, unfortunately not. But it was, I think I had followers for a while because I
Wow.
was on for 2 years.
Yeah.
So it was probably at the end of my 2 years, and someone got through the caller bank and
Good.
they proposed to me. And we were like, okay, thank you very much. That was really kind. We're going to go to the next caller now because, I mean, the host was like, I don't even know what to do with this.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, what? It's like, so if you marry me, you can buy $10,000 worth of this product.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. So back to sales.
Yeah.
I loved it. And that's, I think, the beginning of my sales career. And I learned, again, I said I was lucky, but I learned if you provide a product that suits someone's needs, right? And again, they're all looking for something and a solution. We talked about that before the show. And I think a lot of people are looking for answers or solutions to their problems. So if we can help them in any way, that's where my heart is. I have a servant heart and I just want to help as many people as I can. So that's what led me into this new career. But I did spend 30 years in textile fabrics before I changed careers and
Wow.
came to this company.
Really? Yeah, because I was just about to ask, like, was there like a a bad like a company you worked for where you just had a bad taste in your mouth because like you're saying like you wanted to be able to serve people, you didn't want to just bamboozle them and take their their money just because you
Right.
actually want to be of service. Like, was there any company you worked for you had the like the
And no, it wasn't a company, but
okay
I had an awakening, if you will.
okay
So it was after I turned 50.
oh you're looking
And
great. I was like, yeah, I didn't even
thank
realize.
you. Thank you. Thank you. But I realized I am not doing anything to really help people. I thought I was, and I loved my career. I've traveled the world. I've seen the most beautiful places, the most beautiful cities, and I wouldn't regret a minute of it. But I just decided, I woke up and said, Lord, God, whoever you believe in, I don't think that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This isn't my true calling. I'm supposed to be helping people, but what I'm doing is telling people to buy the newest fabric or the newest design and put it in their home or put it on their, clothing. And then what ends up happening with those clothes and that home furnishing product is it eventually goes into a landfill. And I'm like, that's so wasteful.
Mhm.
I'm not helping people with telling them to buy more fabric
Mhm.
with the seasons or with the new design.
Yep, the new fad or
Yeah,
whatever.
the new trend.
Mm.
So I said, I think I'm supposed to be doing something else. And I prayed about it. And I said, what am I supposed to be doing that can truly help other people? And what I came up with is if I could help people with their money, I think I can help them with a lot of other things that come along with not having money brings to a family.
Mm.
We also went through a pretty rough time. My husband had an accident, and I spoke about that at my sales conference. And it was a rough time for us, but I think I went through that learning lesson so that I could say, hey, I don't want anyone to walk through that hardship like we had.
Mm.
We had everything. We had the big house. We had all the cars. We had all the toys. We like went on vacations. We traveled. We entertained all the time. But then when you lose that, we literally lost everything from an accident that happened to my husband, and he was out of work for almost 2.5 years. So,
If you don't mind me asking, I was
yeah,
gonna say if you don't mind. So, it was before the. So that's when you changed careers, like right as soon as after you changed careers, the accident happened and everything else,
no,
or was
no,
okay?
I was still doing textiles when
Oh,
my
okay.
husband had the accident.
Mm.
And then,
And was that when you had the? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you. Was
yeah,
that when the time you had that revelation? Truly, you're like, dang, like what am I
no,
doing,
it
God?
wasn't even
Okay,
right then
okay,
because when he had the accident, we didn't know it was going to be 2.5 years of no work.
yeah.
We just thought it was a bad accident. We'll get through this and then, right back to normal. It was after 2.5 years of 12 different surgeries, and we were in a bad financial place. We thought about filing bankruptcy, but it was almost a cop out for us. So we said, no, we don't want to do that. We wanted to pay our debt
Mhm.
because it was our debt. And we went to the hospital, we went to emergency services, and we said, look, we'd love to settle with you. And they weren't interested, they wanted the full amount. So we thought, well, the only thing we can do is liquidate and pay as much as we can and then work out a payment plan, right?
Yeah.
That's the proper thing to do. And we did that. We short sold our house. We took a much lower value than what it was worth, even,
Wow.
and we owed more on
A-
the house.
And what year was this by any chance? If you
That
don't mind
was
me asking.
in 2014, so 10
Okay.
years ago.
Damn.
Yeah.
And if you, I want to actually ask again, what happened with your husband? Like, what was it that caused?
He
Was
had a
it 12
bicycle.
surgeries?
Yeah, he had a bicycle accident and he fell off the bike just the wrong way. He didn't get hit by a car. It wasn't anything major. It was just he fell off the bike the wrong way. He shattered his pelvis, broke both hips, and shattered both forearms.
Shoo.
So, a lot of surgery. He became my Iron Man because he's full of titanium now, plates and
Yeah.
screws holding him together. Thank
That's
goodness he is fully recovered, and it's taken a
God
long,
bless.
long time. But again, I think I went through that. We all went through that rough time, and I never lost faith. And I just kept praying through it. And I was like, God, I don't think you're going to leave me here.
Mm.
And he didn't. But it was a long period before I realized I've got to do something because we were homeless. We had to move in with family. We had to restart our careers, restart everything. And that was in our mid 40s. So that's a big humbling experience to go through. But we took it and we said, we're going to get through this. We explained to our kids, we'd rather live in a tent
Hmm.
as long as we stay together as a family unit and make ourselves the priority, um, keeping our faith. Um, we got through it and finally moved back to Virginia. We were living in Utah at that time, but we moved to Virginia where I grew up in 2019, just in time for COVID.
Yeah, I know, right? I was
And
just
we
about to
were
say.
like, oh, okay, this is great. But it all worked out. So I moved to be closer to my family. And it's been a really great time since then, coming back to Virginia. And I found this new career. And that's when I started, was in 2021. So when you asked me, was it right at the time of the accident?
Yeah.
No, it was only 3 years ago that I called my college roommate and I said, I see what you're doing and I love it. I see that you're leaving an impact and you have a life of purpose. And that's what I want. I want to have a career with purpose.
Mm.
I want to help people. I want to serve others. I want to teach them about money. And I want to help people not have to go through what we went through.
Yeah.
So that's how I came to Five Rings.
Damn, I wanted to ask too, like during that time, you're homeless, like you live with family. Like, was there, because there's a lot of people that, when that they, sometimes they lose hope. Like, because recently it's funny you say that. Like, was there a fear? Well, the question is like, was there any fear of like the future of like, damn, what's going to happen next? Like when you were at that point in your life, like asking God,
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we're human
yeah,
and we're going to have that fear. But I really tried. And when I say my faith has gotten so much stronger through this whole experience because I just knew we weren't going to stay there. It wasn't the end.
mm,
You know, that expression that God didn't bring you here to leave you here.
mm,
He's going to bring you through it.
yeah,
And if you haven't gotten through it, he's still getting you through it now. And there is going to be a brighter day. Every day the sun rises,
mm,
right? So after the darkness, the sun always rises.
mm.
It might be a gloomy day, but it's still the sun's still going to come up.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you seem to have a great attitude too. Because I noticed, like the vocabulary you use. You said learning lesson. A lot of people would look back at moments like that in their life, and they'd be, these are deep. Like they weren't. They look at it as a failure or just like a bad. Well, of course, it's a bad experience, like a bad experience in a sense, but it's all about perspective
Sure.
too. Honestly, that's something that's something I've been learning a lot too. Is just trying to change your attitude about things and being like, hey, like there's
Absolutely.
something to learn here. God or whoever you may believe in, there's always a purpose. There's a reason why you're going through these challenges, and like you look at it as an obstacle to make you better. And look at you now,
Yes.
and it's
Yes.
remarkable. Like, and did you ever even see yourself going into insurance by any chance? Or like you said, you saw
No,
your roommate, you're like, all right, I see what you're doing. You're doing great things. Like you were just like,
no.
just take a whole new career, right? In your
I
career.
never thought I would be in insurance. And no child says, I can't wait to grow up and become an insurance salesperson, right?
Yeah.
Like, no one says that ever.
Yeah, I know.
But it's a totally different industry
Yeah.
today than it was before, I think.
Can you explain
So,
that deeper by any
yeah,
chance, if you don't
yeah.
mind me asking? Yeah.
So, there's new products that we have today that weren't even in existence even 20 years ago. So, the products that we have today, we really focus on education and we focus on middle America. So, we're a very large company, just like an Edward Jones or Merrill Lynch or any of the other large financial institutions, but we focus on middle America because no one is helping us.
Mm,
And we have an education problem in our country, I think, not a
mm,
money problem. It's an education problem.
mm,
So if we can get all the strategies and the fundamentals into the hands of middle America, we can explain to them, hey, you can use the vehicle of life insurance to help you with your retirement.
mm.
You don't have to have $1 million already in the bank to plan for a golden retirement. We teach families like moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas. If you started the most incredible savings plan for your child or grandchild, and say you put in $100 a month, by the time that child retires, they're going to have over $1 million and they don't owe Uncle Sam $1 of it. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
And that is the product I'm talking about. It's called tax free retirement.
Mhm,
It's also called an indexed universal life, IUL.
mhm,
And if you hashtag IUL, you'll see it everywhere on social media right now because this is what people in middle America, and even if you look at statistics, right? The average millionaire in America was not born overnight.
mhm.
They worked, if you've ever read the book, The Millionaire Next Door
No, I
or
haven't.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
No, I haven't read those books. Ah, dang
Great,
it.
great
The Millionaire
books.
Next Door,
Yeah.
and then
The Millionaire Next Door and Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
all right, I got you.
They talk about, the laundromat owner and he's going to work or she's going to work every single day. And they're not doing big things, but they're just going to work and they're doing it day after day consistently. And it's the same concept. If you start to save in an IUL, $100 a month for a child, that's how they become a millionaire. And it's not overnight. It takes a long
Oh
time,
yeah.
but it's consistent payments into this savings account over time at a very good interest rate of 10% on average.
Oh wow.
That's an average. And it's not in the stock market. So you don't lose money from the risk of being in the stock market.
Mhm.
I like that too. Because middle Americans, like most people, do you like to lose money?
Oh no, I don't think
No,
anybody does. Yeah.
no. I mean, we work hard for our money. Who wants to lose money?
Mm.
And we look at Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett says the number one rule in investing is don't lose money.
Mm.
Number two is don't forget about rule number one. Don't lose money.
Mhm.
So I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have money in the stock market.
Yeah.
If you have time and you want to be a little more aggressive and you don't mind assuming risk, go ahead. It's great.
Mhm.
But for others that don't want that risk,
Yeah.
this is a great way, a vehicle of saving that money for retirement and not paying any taxes. And it's perfectly legal.
Wow. And that's the thing too, like you said, there's so many ways to help especially a lot of days, a lot of people want, we want generational wealth, like every, middle class American or even in the world, they just want to be able to pass down, we have a house, finances, whatever they can to make sure that, their family legacy lives on too. And, there's, like you said, it doesn't have to be in the stock market where you're taking such a risk. Like there's options out there, but like it just, there's, sadly just I think this, sadly, people are so busy now, especially nowadays with, the inflation rate so high. You have, people having to work more than ever just to maintain, a roof over their head. And you have groceries that, half a cart, not even, is like $300 plus. You're like, dang, like, and then gas. It's a lot of stress, especially nowadays. So it's to be able, I think people are a lot more, aware and trying to gain that knowledge, like you're saying now, to be able to withstand,
Yes.
especially, the next even 4 years, like what's going to happen in the next 4 years, like what's going to happen. And I want to ask too, because you were talking about, what's your opinion about like cryptocurrencies and stuff like that? Like, what's the future of that? Is that something you ever like look into, or is that like,
That is not my strength. I will be
gotcha.
very honest with you. Crypto, um, I'll say, I believe that there are great people out there that can teach about crypto and how to invest. I don't know what that whole market looks like. Again, I stick to the very basic, safe advising when it comes to investing in IUL.
Yeah.
That's where I stay. That's my lane of expertise. So I'm sure that there are amazing experts out there that can tell you everything about crypto, but I don't have an opinion because I
That's what,
don't know it.
no, it's fine. I was just interesting to see, I mean, it's just, if you, were interested, like ever like read a little bit about it or anything like that. It's just, that's something I've been, dabbled in for a couple of years now. And again, I don't take any financial advice from me. I'm just a 27-year-old guy, but, it's, there's a lot of way. Again, there's just so many ways to do it
So
out
many
there. And
ways.
again, it's
That's
just being able to, find the right people to gain the education from, right? It's, nowadays you have, fraudsters, I can imagine. And I want to actually ask, because you're talking about, bringing impact to people, wine, woman, and wealth, right?
Yes.
How is that? Can you explain more about that actually, and how,
Okay. Yeah.
how it started, or
I
maybe how you got
love
into it?
it.
Yeah.
It is, I think it is one of my strengths that well, I want to help women, especially because I was in that situation with my husband and his accident, and I was head of the household handling all the finances. And we know that in the next 2, 3, 4 generations, more women are going to have their hands on the personal finances of a family than ever before in history. So we have to educate the women how to manage your household finances. And that is a vehicle or a way. It is a workshop that I teach every month. I teach it online as well as in person in my local city.
Okay.
And I'm even thinking of taking that on the road because I
Yeah.
have friends that are all over the country. And I would love to go visit my friends and help share with them. Now, the online, thank goodness, because of COVID, we've learned that we can Zoom and we can teach anyone anywhere.
Yeah.
Um,
Did that impact like like the whole like insurance company at all when you were working, or it's kind of just?
I hadn't started
Oh yeah, because it's
until
2021, right?
21.
Yeah, never
Yeah.
mind. Okay, my
So
apologies.
I did hear, though,
Okay.
from a lot of our other agents and financial professionals in our business that they had to adapt
Yeah.
or they were going to get left behind. So, yes, they learned how to teach these classes and workshops online on Zoom.
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah, it
it's a
was
whole.
great. It was really good.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a learning curve too. Again, just like in
Sure.
the beginning, but then once you master it, it's
Yeah.
because that's actually something. Again, I've been doing more Zoom interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just trying to learn just the like when to pause, react. It's just that delay too, right? But
Sure.
it's definitely and that's another blessing. And just I know before we got on the show, we were talking about the negatives of Zoom and like kids, for example, who were learning through Zoom in the education system, how it had its negatives, but also, there's a lot of positives too. And we should be
There
looking more
were.
at the positives. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, with Wine Women and Wealth though, so like you go out and teach other leaders to other women, like
I
to guide.
can,
Okay.
but it's more, so I'll invite anywhere from 25 to 50 women.
Yeah.
And these are women in my community. And here's how the invitation sounds. Hi, I'll call you Amanda today. Hi, Amanda. I am hosting a really brilliant class. It's called Wine, Women, and Wealth. It's a networking event. So you come, you have a little bit of food, a little bit of wine tasting. You're going to meet incredible women in our community. A lot of them are already small business owners, or they're entrepreneurs, or they're realtors, or they're whatever they're doing. And I just want you to network, meet as many people as you can. And I'm going to teach a little bit about financial tips or wealth tips. And I change the topic every month. It's just a great way to come together. We lift each other up, and we're all there to help one another. We're not there to tear each other down. It's not the Housewives of Fredericksburg. That's another group. But we're really there just to help support and lift each other up, because that's how we're going to all rise, right? Helping and lifting one another. Let's link arms and let's do this. Women are really good at that. Men, not so much. Sometimes they're a little more competitive,
Yeah.
and they don't like to share their successes. Women love to share their successes with other women. So that's what makes it a success. And I have created an amazing community where women are bringing their friends, their daughters, their mothers, their girlfriends, and they come every month, even though they've been many times, because they're like, Judy, I learned something new every single month. And I want everyone that I care about in my family and my friendships to learn this too. Because you're right, we are all going to have to know how to handle our money, our finances for the household, for ourselves. I even have some women that come after a divorce, and they've never managed their money. So they're confused and they're lost and they're looking for answers. And that's what we do. We help as many women as we can.
No, especially in finances in general, especially when you get into the, the trenches, it's definitely like, where do I start? Where do I go? There's so much, new vocabulary, so many new, terminology, all that, that whole nine, and where to start properly. So it feels good that, again, like you're giving back in that way is knowledge. Cause you're, instead of, giving them fish, you're teaching them how to fish, right?
How to fish.
Yeah.
That's right.
Was the best analogy ever. And like so basically when it comes to why, like, do you help them along, like also like say they come to you with like business ideas, like do you help them structure that too? Or you just stick with like the financial,
I
like,
stick to the financial
okay.
piece because that's my expertise only. And what I say is we work with volunteers only. So if you want more information, you're going to have to tell me you want the information or ask the questions. So we hand out a questionnaire at the end of my class. If it's online, it's a digital, survey. And if they want more information, they reach out to us and they say, I want to learn more. I want to know about this. What is this IUL? How do I start it for my kids? How do I start it for myself? Because there are a lot of small business owners. We don't have a corporation that we work for that says, hey, we want to match you with a 401k or a traditional IRA for your retirement. If you're just starting out, you need to have a way to save for your own retirement. And this IUL is a perfect way of doing that. Or let's say you have 2 or 3 employees, and I say, let's get one for you. And then if you want to contribute to your employees, that's a great way of building loyalty, right?
Oh yeah.
They're going to be loyal to you if you're contributing part of their premium each month to their retirement. Yeah, it happens to be under life insurance, but most people call it tax-free retirement for a reason,
Yeah.
because we need it. Everyone needs it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Uncle Sam takes enough, like you said, takes enough as he does. So it's like any way you can
Absolutely.
save every money.
Any way I can save you money from paying income taxes
Mhm.
or retirement taxes or
Yeah.
capital gains taxes, I want to do that.
Mhm. Like, and then that's, I want to go back to like the great thing that you say is the community. It's, and that's something I've learned a lot too, even just doing podcasting, it's how much community, matters to be able to actually physically give back. And I think a lot of people, that's what they, again, with the lockdowns, how much it's impacted us and isolated us from each other, even family members, churches and stuff, it's good to, I see a lot more growth now of people starting, like you said, communities and ways to help each
Absolutely.
other grow, because we're just so sick and tired of, you
Being
know,
alone?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I hear that all the time. They're like, Judy, thank you for bringing back the in person events. We need fellowship. We thrive on that as a society. We need each other, whether we want to admit it or not.
mm,
We need other people and we need to feel needed. Don't you think that? Like,
mm,
we all want to feel heard, we all want to feel respected, and we all want to feel we're a part of something great. So that's how I'm growing my events because I just promote positivity. I'm like, if you're here to be negative or you're here to gossip, we're not the right place.
no.
Yeah, you can leave that at the door. We're here just to lift each other up.
Mhm.
And that's what I focus on. And it's been really, really good. I've not had to say, okay, you three over there, carry on.
Yeah, it's just, I like to say, it's like I might have to give out some, you might have to smack some people around. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
No
no, no,
violence, never
no.
do violence.
They just I think they're attracted
Yeah,
to how positive and how encouraging we are.
yeah,
We're mentoring, we're encouraging, we're gathering. It's all these important things that, again, I feel women really need. I hope that guys love it and want to be in fellowship and being together as well.
yeah.
And I learned that from my Money 101 class, which is for men and women. I also teach that every month and that's growing a lot as well because my ladies that came to Wine Women and Well,
Yeah.
now they're bringing their partners, their spouses, their brothers, their fathers to Money 101. And that's great too because we can always learn something about wealth accumulation, how to protect our income. There's just ways that we can learn every day. So I love that.
Well, and like when it comes to, did you start the financial 101 right after the Why Women and Wealth when you got into that? Was it
No,
something before that you got into? Like,
these have been taught by our company for
okay.
years. Mike Wilk, you
Yeah.
met our CEO. He's amazing. And he is all about, again, leaving an impact, serving others. And he developed these classes. Well, he didn't develop Wine, Women, and Wealth, but he developed Money 101 first,
Yeah.
which was just teaching fundamentals of how to grow your wealth if you're in the middle class, because we weren't taught that in school. So I learned it from all the other leaders in our company. And I'm just carrying on,
Yeah.
yeah, to teach more people.
Pass the torch on, right?
That's right.
No, and that's the thing. Again, it's like especially nowadays too, where you have the biggest transfer of wealth from the middle class to the corporations and big wigs and stuff like that. It's very it's very sad because you just want to be able to give everyone the tools to then initiate and engage to accomplish their goals of having a house, having a nuclear family.
Yeah.
It's actually, let me ask you, like, who who motivates you? Like, who inspires you? Who? Oh, dang it, that camera.
um, my mother for sure.
Really?
My mother's gone. She passed away 11 years ago, but she had such a big heart and I learned everything from her. She literally was here and I think it was to be a servant to others. And I learned so much in her positivity and wanting to help other people. And I just want to emulate her. That's who my inspiration is.
I respect that. And it's great to have someone, especially in your intimate circle, that close to be able to look up to,
Yeah.
and that's another impact to a lot of a lot of children without a two-parent household. It impacts in the long run.
Sure.
It's higher percentages of causing getting into the bad groups, higher rates of incarceration. It doesn't help anyone. And
No.
I just hope that again with this community stuff, people start uplifting each other and giving out more love and stuff like that. And
Absolutely. It's all about the love. You got to love people. If you don't love people, I find that a lot of people may not make it in our business because you have to want to serve others first.
and that's the thing too. I think when it comes to a lot of people think that to get these higher echelons of success, you have to be selfish and greedy.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No. I've worked so much on my own mindset and just personal development, how to be better, how to be positive, how to be strong. Because, we went through some stuff, but everyone goes through stuff. It's life, isn't it?
Mm.
But how do we pick ourselves up when we're down? And how do we carry on? So that's what I want to hopefully influence others and show them that even when in your darkest days and when you're feeling really down, the sun will come up. It will be a better day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I love that. Hit the nail on the head. It literally is beautiful. And
I have a little Hawaiian in me, so people say they feel my aloha, which is not just a greeting. It is a way of life, a way of being, and it's peaceful, and it's bringing joy and kindness and respect to everyone that I come in contact with.
have you? So you were born and raised in Virginia?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. So have you ever visited Hawaii?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yes. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Haven't been back in a long, long time, but yeah, such a beautiful, beautiful place.
Sounds like you have to book a trip soon.
Yeah, I think so.
It's your sign. It's your sign.
Right.
It was so you have family out there still, or
No family left.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang. How'd you? That was so. No, it's so sad too. It's so weird that it's the whole like the fires that happened out there recently. It's
Yes.
pray for them, God bless. But it's there's a lot. It's a lot of weird stuff happening out there. It's so weird that we aren't. It's not a big picture. I feel like it's been kind of swept under the rug recently. I haven't heard much about aid or support for the people, the locals. It's
Yeah. Well, don't get me started on the news.
no.
They only give us what they want us to hear.
Oh, you're 100% right, and I think that's another big wake up call, especially again with the lockdowns and COVID, was seeing the manipulation and the lies that are told by the very news that we were supposed to trust.
Right.
And it definitely had a second guessing, like
It's not reporting.
yeah, right.
It used to be.
Mhm.
When I was a child, I remember watching the evening news with my parents, and I always wondered, why do they watch the news every single day?
Mhm.
But there were really great newscasters and
Yeah.
anchors back in the day. Today, I don't know if that's still the case. I try to avoid the news, honestly.
Yeah.
I'll take the weather and the traffic, and that's about it. And then I'm like, I don't want to hear the rest.
Yeah, exactly, right. And that's the thing that's so great to people just disconnecting from it too and being more present
Right.
in life. And that's something and I'm not going to lie, my perspective, like, cause addiction to social media, just, scrolling, looking for likes, looking for that validation when everything you have validation is in front of you. To even, and I thank you again for your time. Cause I appreciate just having a conversation, and, you're great. Again, you're I can feel your aloha. You're present. You're definitely right on that. And, people are disconnecting and realize you're getting the wool out of their eyes. Me, it's my hair, but, if people are waking up and being more connected with their family,
Yes.
going out there and just living life more in the moment. Cause definitely, cause I don't know if I can imagine just the change from when you were growing up, how much technology has just,
Yes.
advanced. It's mind blowing. Like I just remember, even, I was born in 96, but it just seemed, I was just right in that time where, the first phone, all this stuff was coming out, and just seeing just from then to now,
Yeah.
it's
It's mind boggling, right?
yeah.
So my generation, I'm a Gen Xer. I'm I think the last generation that grew up prior to the internet and then after the internet. So I always tell my kids, I'm like, I'm so glad I grew up in an age and a time when there was no proof of anything. We took the pictures that we wanted to take.
Yeah, yeah. And that's so crazy too. It's funny because a couple of weeks ago, actually, my uncle found a giant bin of old photographs. It's like back then that's the only way you can keep memories. So and it's cool to even have, something
Old
physical like that
photos,
too,
yeah.
right? Because, everything's digital.
Yeah.
You can lose it instantly,
And
and
that I ask all of your
yeah,
generation, I'm like, do you have photo albums? And most of you say, no, I have it on, online, or I have it on Facebook or whatever. I'm like, that's how you document your life? Yeah.
mm,
It's all digital. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you don't have a photo album to
mm,
go through and relive those memories.
yeah.
They're like, no, I have Facebook memories.
Facebook. I know you have Facebook. Oh, I forgot about that. Like, geez, how many times that's happened to me? I'm like, oh, I completely forgot about this.
Right.
And I like to how when you have a photo album, you sit down, usually with other people. Obviously, sometimes you sit and scroll through yourself, but most of the time, like, when I'm looking through, like, because it's usually my grandparents' house or something, my
Yeah.
parents, we sit down with everyone, talk. Oh, I remember this. Oh, it's just the memories,
Yes.
the moments we really take for granted.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially those that are gone, right?
Yeah.
If you can tell a story and share a story or a funny memory of, your aunt so and so or your grandma or your grandpa, yeah, that's really,
Yeah.
really special. And I enjoy that. My
Yeah.
brother does it all the time. And I'm like, wow, you're really getting up there, aren't you?
Yeah, it's too funny. Yeah, no, wait, dude, and to be able to have that family connection too is so important. It's obviously we can't choose who we have in our family, but we only have one family, and I know there's people that they have their connections, but it's hopefully that people can read, because me personally, I can imagine you as well, a very family oriented family.
Yeah.
Like my cousins were my friends growing up.
That's
Like,
awesome. I
like
love that. Big family.
yeah, oh yeah, big. Well, it was my dad's side. I think it was just because also, first generation Americans. So it's like again, you still had that very close family unit. Unlike you see people. I've seen families growing up that've been here generations. It's like sadly they slowly lose that connection with family, and not and it's like I can imagine it's like when you hear people like they say they don't have a close connection. It's like really you're not
Oh,
close with your
yeah.
cousins, or so it's like a
It blows my mind.
yeah. Right.
Same. My husband grew up, his family's very small
Yeah.
and they all moved far away from one another. And then they're just not close at all. And then he met me and my family, and we are like crazy. We're Koreans. We eat for sport. We're eating a meal and talking about the next two meals. And he's like, wow, y'all are something. I'm
Wow.
like, yeah. He goes, I didn't know I was going to get the whole village. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, yeah, you get all of us.
Yeah, exactly. You put a ring on it, you get everybody. You put a ring on
get
everybody.
everybody.
That's funny, but it like what was actually that's interesting. Like so, like how was his perception of like your family looking from when he?
Loved it because
Okay.
it was so different from where he came from.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are big huggers. We're like, I love you, and we'll kiss and we'll hug, and we're very physical.
Mm-hmm.
And we fight too, but we make up.
Yeah.
We address it as a disagreement, and then the next day we're fine.
Mm-hmm.
That blows his mind because I don't think that he grew up that way. So if there was anything that was wrong, it was a lot of sweeping under the rug, and just you don't address it. And I think that's what caused them to sort of drift apart because they didn't handle or take on those big emotions at all. And with our family, yeah, we're always hugging and kissing, and he's like, oh my gosh, it takes so long to say goodbye to everybody.
You say goodbye, and then it's like 15 minutes of conversation. All right,
We're still there.
Yep,
Mhm.
yep,
Yep. And he's like, wow, don't ever tell Judy you want to leave at a certain time because it will be a 30-minute ordeal saying goodbye.
Yeah, right. He tells you earlier to actually leave on the time he wants to leave. Like,
Right, right.
It's so funny. No, but it's to be able to have that like cushion that to people to fall back on. It's such a blessing.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, when I was older, I think it's just because I'm young and dumb. I'm still young and dumb and learning a lot every day until I die. But I was just ignorant of the blessing of my family. I just like, oh, they're always, like I loved it. I love growing up with them, but it's just like, I didn't appreciate it. Actually, is a better way to say it. I didn't appreciate it as much as I should have back then. But I do, looking back at the old photos, I'm like, damn, I'm glad. Like I got to like spend time with my family. Now it's,
Wonderful.
yeah, and I wish that for everybody, to be able
Yeah,
to experience that and,
that's a blessing.
have that. And, like I can imagine, like, so you have a big family as well. Like how many
Not
siblings? Are you the youngest sibling, oldest sibling?
I'm the youngest. My brother is 17 years older than I. So he was
Oh,
like
wow.
having another dad. He basically raised me. I went to more fun concerts as a baby,
Really?
literally rock and roll. Like I got to see some of the best acts
Really?
you can't even
Who'd
imagine.
you see?
I've seen every classic rock band you can imagine. I've seen Led Zeppelin, I've seen the Rolling
What?
Stones, I've seen the Eagles, I've seen literally every band you can imagine,
That's
like
amazing.
classic rock and roll. And I loved it. So my brother would take me to concerts and he had the big headphones
Yeah, yeah.
from the 70s and he would have me on his shoulders and he called me date bait. I
David.
was better than a
Ah,
puppy.
that's fun. Yo, shout out to him. He's funny. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So he would take me everywhere to the park, to the concerts, anywhere. And everyone would be like, "Oh, is this your little girl?" No, it's my sister.
Yeah.
I'm just babysitting her. And he said, "Oh, he got so many dates."
He's like, thank you, thank you. You can come with me anytime. You're good. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is so.
Isn't that
I actually
wild?
did you ever pick up like an instrument then? Like, so were you fascinated with music, or was it just something that you
We
liked it?
did have a musical background. So my mother was a concert pianist and a teacher.
Oh wow,
My brother played saxophone. I played clarinet, and then I moved on from the clarinet. I took up the oboe,
the
the
oboe. I'm not familiar. Sorry.
bassoon, just other instruments,
Oh okay, yeah. I
big
never.
bands,
My fault. I'm not very.
orchestra. Yeah, no worries.
Oh wow. Okay.
But yeah, we both played piano as well.
Dang. Do you still pick up an instrument here and there, or?
No, not as much as we did growing up,
Hmm.
but it was just my brother and I and our parents. But my brother went on, got married, had children, and I married with our children. And our family is, it's a weird stair steps of generations, right?
Yeah.
So my brother's kids were 10 years younger than me. And now my kids are 10 years younger than them. So we're just stacking the generations, but now we're 13 in our family and we get together and it's so wonderful.
It's nice though, because like even with that decade of difference in age and time experience, you still have a connection, find ways to connect and like appreciate. Because it's funny you say that because my youngest cousin is my dad's brother. He had her at like 2003, yeah, 2003, I believe, or 2004. But she's the youngest of my, I was the youngest one, and now I'm like, oh, now you took all the shine. Now I got, I
Yeah,
can't get.
yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, she's awesome, great individual. She's a soccer player now, kicking ass, taking names, and but like again, like having that family dynamic, no matter what, you always, no matter the age gap, the differences, you always, stick together and
Yeah.
sit side by side.
Yeah.
And, I wanted to ask too, Judy, like what like when it comes to this like insurance, like what's your goals for the future for yourself? If you do plan like maybe like honestly, I don't even know with like insurance because again, this like what do you do? Do you build your own company at that point? Do you do
Right.
like what
So
are your goals for yourself in the future?
for myself, I started this August will be 3 years.
Congrats.
Thank you. And I have reached the highest level in our company that you can reach.
Awesome.
That's an executive vice president. And my goal in the next 2 years is to really launch my own agency and have a group of agents that work together with me. And we're just going to get out there and help as many middle Americans as we can. So the goal for all of us is to become $1 million agency. And that's what I'm going to do. I just got to get there as fast as possible because that means that we're helping more and more middle American families.
And you will
Yeah,
most definitely.
absolutely. And it's not for the money, it's
Yeah.
to help serve others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not,
And I can't do it alone, right? So if we have more people helping us, then we can reach so many more people.
and the thing was like also too like people think money is success. Like success is money comes from success. You succeeded, and again, giving your abundance of wealth and in your community, your family, country,
Yeah.
whatever. I think that's what success is. Like the byproduct of success is find money and other stuff like that. But to like if you just go at it with wanting to just generally help and push other individuals, like you will be rewarded. There's your actions are
That's right.
not unnoticed. That's for sure.
That was my prayer.
Yeah,
My
really.
very first prayer was, God, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I have a calling, and I think it's this. So if it is in your will and you want me to help other people with their money, put those people in my path
Mm.
and show me how to do it. And it's been an amazing success since I said that first prayer. Every day I meet someone that needs help, and every day I'm able to help them. So that has to be from God.
Mhm.
I couldn't do that on my own ever. So
Have
I believe it's Him guiding my steps.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Have you ever did you ever see yourself in where you are today? Like when as you were,
No,
no.
no, not at all. And again, I told you we had a pretty big life and
Yeah.
we were living pretty big in Utah. But now I'm back home and I'm close to my family and I'm happier than I've ever been. Even though we went through a really rough time, I am ecstatic to be back here and to be with friends, with family, and doing something that has huge impact. Yeah.
No, it's and let me ask you, I want to dive into like your opinion about religion, how a lot of a lot of people have lost faith. Like, what do you think is the reason why? Like, a lot of people, like especially younger generation, like my generation, they're very disconnected. There seems like a big disconnect. There is, I do notice there are more people my age getting into it now, because
Yeah.
but like, what would you think is the reason why they're getting disconnected from God, a higher power, whatever it may be, Allah, whatever they believe? But
I think there has been a shift. Mike mentioned this at our regional training camp, and I don't know if you heard that part, but that is there is a big change happening in the formal churches that have a denomination, a very clear message of different faiths of Christianity, right? And I'm only speaking on Christianity. That's the only thing I know. Sorry.
no, you're good. I do it all the time. Mic check.
Yeah. Um, there's more of these non-denominational churches that have sort of risen in popularity, and I find a lot of young families are going to them now because they have things like small groups. You can join a small group and feel part of something really special. It is not all about the do's and don'ts of formal religion, if you will. And I say that because I was raised Catholic
Mhm.
and I was starting to raise my children Catholic, and they both came to me at pretty young ages and were like, This is not for us."
Really?
They didn't
Okay.
like it.
Hmm.
They just thought it was too strict,
Yeah.
too regimented, and they did not like Catholic school. They didn't feel like they were really growing in that private school
Yeah.
setting. So I said, okay, well, I kind of had to, take a minute,
Yeah. Right.
talk about it with my husband, and
Yeah. How was that conversation? That's interesting. You know what I mean?
he was not raised Catholic. My
Okay.
husband was raised Methodist.
Oh, okay.
So we were not married in the Catholic Church. We were married in the Methodist Church.
Okay.
And he was very like he was always so open and kind and said, Judy, you decide. You're the mother. And I believe, and I've been raised that the mother always determines what faith the children will have because you are leading the children
Mhm.
and spending more time with them than I am. I would prefer you to, influence them to whatever faith they want to choose.
Yeah.
And that's the road that we started. Anyway, they both said that they wanted to find another church. So
Okay.
we went and visited churches, and it was like, no, not quite. This one's too big. This one's too small. This one's just right.
Still in
So
Catholicism? Like, say,
no,
okay, the
no,
whole
we
different.
went to different faiths.
Oh, and okay.
So we visited Baptist churches, we visited Methodist churches, we
Oh, wow.
visited so many different churches, and then they found a non-denominational church that they love, and they found it because I thought this was really cool. My daughter said to me, "I would like a very good, strong youth group. That's
Mm.
what I'm looking for. My peers that have strong Christian faith." And that we can do a lot of fun things together. And it's not, being pulled by peers maybe that have no faith.
Mhm.
She's like, I just want to have fun
Yeah.
and with my peers and do fun things and do projects and volunteer where we can. And so we found our new church and everyone loves it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like you said, to find a strong youthful group, and that's what a lot of young people are looking for. And I notice it because I'm in the youth group study too. I've been there for a year now. I've been saved by God,
Wonderful.
and phenomenal change. Going back to what you were saying earlier about like the men wanting to have that because it's a men's group, but it's just to be able to conversate about life that just same as to be able to talk about what we go through as men in life and society, and talk and connect it with God and how He's guiding us through this journey and stuff like that.
And
It's
your peers in
yeah,
your age group, which is very important
yeah,
because the conversations are different each generation,
hmm
right? And you're going to have a different conversation with your father versus an uncle or a grandfather than you would with your peers and your cousins, right? So I think that's wonderful.
100%. And it's great that that's growing stronger more. And I mean, I don't know if it probably was a sign for God, but it's giving me ideas now of like what to make our, try to find out ways to get more outreach and, make stronger communities. 'Cause I would love to, because I used to, when I lived in Massachusetts, I used to host like beach and city cleanup. So it's like, maybe I can start doing it down here, and then, maybe have like a
Absolutely.
scripture readout, before or after we gather up the trash, like, or, something like that.
Yes.
But yeah, you gave you sparked an idea. So I appreciate that a lot.
Wonderful. I'm telling you, anytime you're questioning anything, ask God
Yeah.
and He will give you the message. It can be loud or it can be really, really quiet voice deep down inside, and you'll hear it and it will guide your steps and it will change your life, I think.
It's hey, it's and that's the conversation we actually had this past Thursday. It's all about everyone's personal experience in their relationship with God, right? You have to experience it for yourself to really see the true faith and power that He has when guiding you, right? It will happen. You'll see it and be like, all right, like there's no other reasoning. It's not a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. Sorry,
No.
I can't English sometimes, but it's and that's what got me started questioning more too when I was COVID lockdowns right before. I was living in California in 2019 and started reflecting like, what do I want to do? What's my purpose? And that's what got me starting to do this. Just wanting to talk and have a conversation with people,
Love it.
build connections and
Yes.
get to hear your story.
Because we all have a story and we all can share it and learn from it and grow from it, right? If I spark one idea that you can go and do and make a difference and help other people, that's amazing. This is what it's all about.
Again, thank you, because to be able to share your story, and because I can imagine it was a big impact too, with like look like when you're going through that with your husband, having to take care of the family, like the pressure of keeping a roof over your head, making sure the kids are fed, and make sure they're doing good grades in school, all this stuff, and it's to hear your experience and share that, to hopefully, like you said, spark or empower someone else who could be going through something similar. That's the real treasure I'm trying to find with that everyone has, because I learn something new every time. I'll re-listen and be like, oh wow, damn, like that was, I can't believe I missed that. I can't believe it's beautiful. And God gave us 2 years, and 2 years for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
It's been my absolute pleasure talking with you.
no, no,
Thank you.
no. Thank you, Judy. Actually, yeah, we actually just hit the hour mark, so that's perfect. No, thank you so much, Judy. It's an honor. It's a pleasure. I'm glad to get to meet you. Shout out to shout out to Mary.
Mary Fisher
Yep,
is
Mary Fisher. Yeah,
an angel on earth. She absolutely is.
yeah, she's great
She
people.
she influences and inspires people every day. And she's not afraid to reach out and touch and talk to people, strangers, every day. And look, she makes magic. Every time I meet someone through Mary, I'm like, thank you, God. Mary touched another special person that I became friends with. Yeah, it's beautiful.
And you're doing God's work too, so thank you. And
Yeah.
I was gonna say before we sign out, Judy, is there any words of inspiration, or acknowledgement, maybe guidance for anyone out there listening? If not, you can just tell people how they can reach out to you, how they can, dive into financial knowledge, maybe,
Sure.
maybe some dates of when you're hosting your Wine, Women, and Wealth as well. The floor is yours. Anything you'd like to shout out?
You. That is awesome. My words of inspiration are, yeah, you're going to have some hard days. It's life. No one told us it was going to be perfect. It's messy, and we're going to get through it. We're human beings. If you have faith, rely on your faith, lean in, ask for answers, right? Hopefully you're asking for answers from God or Allah or whoever you believe in, your creator. Um, you'll get strength from that. And he always delivers, I believe. So when you're in need, ask and thank him because it's already been delivered. Your answer, your solution is already been delivered. It just may not be in your hands today, tangible, but it's coming. That's my parting message. And then upcoming events. Yeah, I would love to have anyone, if you're in the Fredericksburg area, my next Wine, Women, and Wealth will be at Summit Lending on May 14th. It's a Tuesday evening from 5:30 until 7:30. We have online events all the time. The next Money 101 is coming up on Tuesday, the 23rd, next Tuesday. And that's online. Mary Fisher's Eventbrite page has the invitation, so anyone can sign up for that. And yeah, I would love to hear from anybody that wants to ask me a question. If you, go to Sixth, spelled out SIXTH and AND King, KING.com. And I would love to have a phone call with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Judy. Again, I appreciate your time, your knowledge, sharing your story, even though it's just a scratch of the surface. I know you probably have a lot more stories to tell, but thank you so much. I appreciate it.
My absolute pleasure.
And guys, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I hope you guys, as always, are taking care of yourself and the people around you because you know why? You deserve it. Have a great one. Stay safe and see you on the next episode. Peace.